Hello students, so let's start our new chapter, that is chapter 17, which is security at the transport layer, which is provided by SSL and TLS. So basically transport layer security provides end-to-end security services for applications that use a reliable transport layer protocol such as TCP. So here the idea is to provide security services for all transactions happening on the internet. So these are the objectives. Here we are going to discuss the need for security services at the transport layer of the internet model, and next we are going to discuss the general architecture of SSL and general architecture of TLS, and at the end we are going to compare and contrast SSL and TLS. Location of SSL and TLS in the internet model. As you can see in this figure, SSL or TLS lies between the transport layer and application layer. The main idea of this protocol is to provide security services for all transactions happening on the internet. For example, when a customer shops online, there are some following security services he or she desires. Like the customer needs to be sure that the server that he or she connecting is belongs to an actual vendor, not to an imposter, and the customer and the vendor need to be sure that the contents of the message are not modified in the during of entire transaction, that is message integrity. And the customer and the vendor need to be sure that an imposter doesn't intercept the sensitive information such as credit card information, that is your secret information is not seen by any third party. So the main objective is to provide server and client authentication, data confidentiality, and data integrity to all the application layer client server programs such as HTTP, FTP, and many more. SSL architecture. SSL is designed to provide security and compression services to data generated from the application layer. Typically, SSL can receive data from any application layer protocol such as HTTP, FTP, and the data received from the application is compressed, which is optional, then signed and encrypted. So these are the topic here we are going to discuss, that are services provided by the SSL, different key exchange algorithms, different encryption and decryption algorithms, hash algorithms, and what is ciphershoot, and what is compression algorithms, and different cryptography parameter generation, and what is session and connections. First one is services provided by SSL. SSL provides several services on data received from the application layer. First one is fragmentation. First, SSL divides the data into blocks of 2 to the power 14 bytes or less. Then compression, which is optional. Each fragment of data is compressed using one of the lossless compression method negotiated between the client and server. Then is message integrity. To preserve the integrity of data, SSL uses a keyed hash function to create MAC, that is message authentication code. Then confidentiality. To provide confidentiality, the original data and the MAC are encrypted using a symmetric key cryptography. Then last one is framing. A header is added to the encrypted payload, and then the payload is passed to a reliable transport layer protocol. Next topic is key exchange algorithms. To exchange an authenticated and confidential message, the client and the server each need 6 cryptographic secrets, that are 4 keys and 2 initialization vectors. However, to create these secrets, one pre-master secret must be established between the client and server. So SSL defines 6 key exchange methods to establish the pre-master secret, that are null, RSA, anonymous defilement, ephemeral defilement, fixed defilement, and last one is protection. So let's discuss about the first key exchange algorithm, that is null. Null says that there is no key exchange required in this method and no pre-master secret is established between the client and server. Here one point to remember is both client and server need to know the value of pre-master secret. Next key exchange algorithm is RSA. Here the pre-master secret is 48-byte random number that is created by the client, and the client will send the pre-master secret to the server encrypting with the server's public key, and server will decrypt it using own private key. Then server also needs to send its RSA encryption and decryption certificate to the client for the verification purpose. Next one is anonymous defilement key exchange algorithm. Here the pre-master secret is established between the client and server using simple defilement protocol, and the defilement half keys that are G, P and G to the power S are sent in plain text, and it is called anonymous defilement protocol because neither the party client and server is known to each other. And there is one disadvantage in this protocol, that one is this particular protocol is prone to the man in the middle attack, and here the pre-master secret is G to the power CS mod P. Next topic is ephemeral defilement. To overcome the man in the middle attack, the ephemeral defilement key exchange protocol is introduced. Here each party sends a defilement key signed by its private key, and the receiving party needs to verify the signature using the public key of the sender, and the public key for verification are exchanged using either RSA or DSS digital signature certificate. Fixed defilement protocol. Another solution to overcome from the man in the middle attack is fixed defilement method. Here all entities in a group can prepare fixed defilement parameters, that are G and P. Then each entity can create a fixed defilement half key, that is G to the power X. Like the two parties do not directly exchange the half keys, the certificate authority sends the half keys in an RSA or DSS special certificate. When the client needs to calculate the pre-master secret, it uses its own fixed half key and the server half key received in a certificate. Then server also does the same but in reverse order. Last one is Fortija. Fortija is a registered trademark for the US National Security Agency, and it is a family of security protocols developed for the Defense Department. Encryption and decryption algorithms. So there are several choices for encryption decryption algorithm. So we divided algorithms into 6 groups. So let's discuss about each and every algorithms one by one. First one is null. Here the null category simply defines the lack of any encryption and decryption algorithm. The next one is stream RC4. Here two RC algorithms are defined in stream mode, that is RC440, where 40 stands for 40-bit key size, and RC4 128, where 128 stands for 128-bit key size. Then block RC. Here one RC algorithm is defined in block mode, that is RC2 CBC. CBC stands for cipher block chaining, and 40-bit it is size of 40-bit key size. And next one is block DES. Here all DES algorithms are defined in block mode, and DES40 CBC uses a 40-bit key size, and standard DES such as DES CBC and 3DS ED CBC uses 168-bit key size. Then next one is block IDEA. The one IDEA algorithm in block mode is IDEA CBC, which uses 128-bit key size. Then last one is Fortija. Fortija algorithm defined in block mode, that is Fortija CBC, which uses 96-bit key size. So as we discussed, null, The null category simply defines the lack of any encryption decryption algorithm. Stream RC, 2 RC algorithm, that is RC40 and RC128 are defined in stream mode. Then block RC, 1 RC algorithm is defined in block mode, that is RC2 CBC40. Then DS, all DS algorithms are defined in block mode. IDA, the IDA algorithm defined in block mode is a IDA CBC with a 128-bit key size. Then last one is Fortija. The one Fortija algorithm defined in block mode is Fortija CBC. The next topic is hash algorithm. SSL uses hash algorithms to provide message integrity, that is message authenticity. So three hash functions are defined, that are null, MD5 and SHA-1. In null simply says that two parties may decline to use any algorithm. So in this case there is no hash function and message authenticity is not achieved. And second one is MD5. Here the two parties may choose to use MD5 as the hash algorithm. So in this case the key size is 128 bit. And last one is SHA-1. Here two parties may choose to use SHA as the hash algorithm. In this case 160-bit SHA-1 hash algorithm is used. As I said, that three hash algorithms that are null, the two parties may decline to use any algorithm. In this case there is no hash function and the message is not authenticated. Next one is MD5. The two parties may choose to use MD5 as the hash algorithm, and in this case a 128 key size MD5 hash algorithm is used. And last one is SHA-1. The two parties may choose SHA as the hash algorithm. In this case 160-bit SHA-1 hash algorithm is used. Moving to next topic, that is ciphersuit. Ciphersuit means the combination of key exchange, hash and encryption algorithms defines a ciphersuit for each SSL session. Each ciphersuit starts with the term SSL followed by the key exchange algorithm, and the word with separates the key exchange algorithm from the encryption and hash algorithm. For example, SSL DHE RSA with DES CBC SHA. Here DHE RSA simply defines the key exchange, with DES CBC as the encryption algorithm and SHA as the hash algorithm. So this is the list of different ciphersuits that are being used in SSL with different combination of key exchange, encryption, hash algorithms. So please go through this table once so that you can have very brief idea about different ciphersuits and how to use this. Next topic is compression algorithms. Compression is optional in SSL version 3. So no specific compression algorithm is defined for SSL version 3. So by default the default compression method is null. Generation of cryptography parameters. To generate the cryptography parameters, first we need to calculate the master secret. To achieve message integrity and confidentiality, SSL needs 6 cryptographic secrets, that are 4 keys and 2 initialization vectors. The client needs one key for message authentication, one key for encryption, and one initialization vector for block encryption. The server also needs the same. SSL requires that the keys from one direction need to be different from another direction, because if there is one attack is happening in one direction, the other direction is not affected by this. So how to generate the master secret? First, the client and server exchange two random numbers. One is created by the client and another one is created by the server. And then client and server exchange one pre-master secret using one of the key exchange algorithm. And at last, a 48-byte master secret is created from the pre-master secret by applying two hash functions, that are SHA-1 and MD5. After we get the master secret, Then the master secret is used to create the variable length key material by applying the same set of hash function and prepending with different constants. And this particular module is repeated until key material of adequate size is created. And one point to remember that the length of the key material block depends on the cipher suit that we have selected. Now after we got the key material block, now our job is to extract the cryptographic secrets from the key material block. So as you can see in this figure, we are going to extract the cryptographic secrets from the key material block. As we need 6 cryptographic secrets, so that are client authentication key, server authentication key, client encryption key, and server encryption key, and client initialization vector and server initialization vector. These are the 6 cryptographic secrets that we have extracted from the key material block.